everyone, and welcome to Are We Doing This? I'm Lauren Parajon.
And I'm Lauren Butler.
We're two millennial moms on the brink of 40, looking for new ways to shake things up.
We're here to challenge ourselves, each other, and you to get out of our comfort zones and try something new.
So if you've caught yourself wondering, what's next? You're in the right spot.
So are we doing this?
Looks like it. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome. We are back with episode 2.
Episode 2. That's wild.
Excited?
Woo! Oh man, so it's been a week and we got our first episode launched. It's on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which was wild to see. Like I saw it pop up on my own feed as I was going to listen to a podcast. Wild. So what are your thoughts after episode 1?
I know. It's been really cool to see it out in the world. And, this idea was one that we came up with and then jumped on pretty quick. So it really hasn't been in the works that long. And now it's out in the world. And it's been really cool to see friends and family from all over kind of reaching out and sharing their feedback and saying, oh my gosh, I saw it. Or I listened in the car on the way to school. So love that. Love that it's had the opportunity to connect with some people that I haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see like some of our college friends have reached out, like people who knew us back in college and just say how they loved like catching up with us and seeing our faces again if you're watching or just hearing us if you're listening. But I did notice I definitely need to work on how many times I say like. That was shocking. When I went back and heard it, I started twitching every time I said like, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm going to I just did it again. I wish there was like some kind of taser I could have to just zap me every time because I really do need to train myself out of it. But I do think it was really fun. The feedback's been great. I want to hear more. Everyone's telling us, this is great. Love it. I'm like, no, give me the bad. I want the bad. Give me real feedback so we can improve. Like maybe just don't say like so much. So that's my my feedback for moving forward is I definitely need to work on that.
For sure. And it takes a while to figure out like the camera setup and the equipment and all of it. So I think we will definitely continue to improve and keep working on our filler words. And we're just excited that you're here with us. And we hope you'll stick with us to see how this all shakes out.
Right. I just keep saying we have to improve. That's the only option. We can't get worse at it. So you're still looking up. But so it's been a week. What's been new in your life? What's going on?
This week has been an awesome one. I just took this amazing trip over the weekend. Basically, after we recorded a few days later, I left town. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I traveled to Scottsdale, Arizona for the weekend, which I had never been there and spent time with all my female family members, so aunts and cousins, a girls' trip for the weekend. And it was honestly kind of heavenly.
Tell me about the spa day. I heard there was a spa day, and I'm so jealous.
Well, first of all, the weather was perfect. It was sunny and warm, like warm. I had to take all my sweaters out of my bag at the last minute, which I'm so glad I did. It was beautiful. Kind of feels like being on Mars, Phoenix area, Scottsdale. It's rocky and sandy but beautiful. And yes, we indulged in a spa day. And when I tell you, we spent all day at the spa.
Yeah,
we really, truly did. And it was a dream, to be honest. I was like, I just wish that I was the kind of lady who could do that once a month. Once a month, I just had my spa day. I was like, Mom's going away. This is her day. And we started the morning with aerial yoga, which have you ever done aerial yoga?
I have not. I don't think I would have the upper body strength to get my body up there, to be honest.
I thought the same thing. I was really intimidated to do it. And so I guess in the vein of trying new things, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to try. I'm going to be brave. And it was so much fun, honestly. Really? It kind of felt like being a kid again. You could swing in they call them silks that you hang on. And you could swing like a kid. And it was a little bit easier than I thought it was going to be. I was very intimidated. My aunts, who are total badasses, including my aunt who is 73, who was really nervous about aerial yoga, did it and was swinging. She was doing a swinging crow.
Wow.
And big ups to Aunt Jan, and she really killed it. And we all did. Everybody tried. So anyway, it was really fun. Got to try something new. Definitely get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. Were you so sore from that? Because that's muscles you probably don't typically use. No. Were you you probably weren't sore because you spent the rest of the day just getting massages in the
I was
going
to say
everything.
Not as much as I thought, but I did, not to humble brag, I did get to go straight from there to the spa where we luxuriated in the sauna and the steam room and the whirlpool. And then I got a 90-minute massage, which was heaven.
Love that.
And then after that, we got to have a private lunch, and then we hung out on the rooftop pool. I mean, really.
So you're basically just a celebrity for for a whole day.
Essentially, yes.
Were there like men fanning you and feeding you grapes?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. We laid out by the pool in our robes, and
Yeah.
it was, I mean, I was living my best life. I'm not gonna lie. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. So
I'll go. Let's go. Let's go next week.
Next girls trip. Let's
Yeah.
go. That's it.
We don't have money, but we'll just go anyway.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm out of money though now is the downside.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun and it was glorious. So yeah, hopefully get to go again soon. Oh, and at the end of the spa day, I did try for the first time a cold plunge. So
what did you think?
Was
it terrible?
It was terrible. I went in with my cousin, and she's awesome. And she went in. It was both of our first times. So it was like one that you could walk down into, just like it was like it seemed like a renovated hot tub in the spa, but it was like cold. And so I think having steps in was kind of a downside, because as soon as you got one foot in, you were like, oh God, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. But we both got in. She stayed in for like 3 minutes, which I was really impressed. Yeah. I was maybe 30 seconds.
Really? Do you know what the temperature was?
Oh, I don't. Very cold?
Very cold.
It was very cold.
It was toe
numbing.
It was
icy.
Yeah.
It was very icy. Anyway.
Did you get a rush when you got out? Were you like,
it felt...
Really?
I felt energized and a little tingly. And I don't know. I feel like the doing it consistently over time is probably really where you get the benefit. But I did enjoy it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you got some relaxation time. And did you get any like fun advice from the ants or anything?
Oh my God.
It's always fun to talk to ants and get like weird life advice.
Yes, they're always full of great advice, lots of laughs, and like always a good time. Yeah. I think one of the ideas we talked about when we were all together, they were all asking about the podcast too, but this idea of, we did a lot of conversations about like boundaries and healthy boundaries. We're all getting older, and, I was one of the youngest on the trip, and just the idea that like no is a complete sentence.
Yeah,
and
it really is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't need to explain yourself. And also we all practiced even with each other. We all love each other, and we all want to do what everybody wants to do, but also just practicing like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. I will stay here for this part of the trip. And, it's refreshing. And it also makes you feel good when the people you're with that you love set boundaries. And you're like, I'm so glad, because I want you to do what you want to do. And I want to, anyway. So I think it's a really good practice as women who have been taught our whole lives to do what the group,
appease somebody
or please the group, to be able to say, no, this is what I need, or this is what I want. And so I think that's a really powerful reminder.
I've always looked forward to being like that old lady who just says whatever I want and like only does what I want to do, Like, why can't I do that now? There's no reason we can't start now. We can be weird old ladies at 40. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Or 39.
So what about you? Tell me about your week. You had a fun trip too, right?
Yeah, we went to Snowy Range. It's a ski resort in Wyoming. I live in Colorado, but we're about like 3 hours from Breckenridge and the big resorts, but Snowy Range is an hour 45, and we are beginners still. My husband and I, obviously, right when we moved here, decided let's be snowboarders, because we moved from Texas to Colorado. So we're like, all right, let's do it. We went all in, bought the equipment. Then the first time we went to slopes, we're like, oh, we're terrible at this. Also, learning a sport at this age. I mean, I guess that's what this podcast is about, is getting out, trying these new things. Learning snowboarding at this age is so incredibly humbling, painful, and defeating. It's like, because it gets to the point where, well, it's not fun. It's not fun until you're good at it. It's not fun until you can actually get down the hill. So you don't look forward to it, and you're spending all this money, and you're like, this isn't, ooh. So we did last year we decided to do some indoor lessons on like a moving carpet thing. So that was fun. Not exactly the same as being on the snow. This year we're taking what we learned in our indoor class to get in the snow. So we put our kids in, they did like a 2-hour lesson. And that way my husband and I could, try to get down the hill by ourselves. And I will say successfully, for the first time, both of us made it down the hill. Granted, it was like a green. That's the easiest one, right?
That's okay.
I think so. But Actually, the scariest part still is getting off the chairlift. I cannot tell you the panic that goes through my brain as we approach to get off the chairlift. Like, the panic. Like, my head is like, all right, put your legs this way. Get your body this way. Don't fall. Don't fall. And my husband's always in front of me and immediately falls every time. And then I'm like staring at the guy in the booth, like, turn it off. Turn it off. He's down. He's down. I don't want him. I'm going to run right into him. I'm going to run into. And there was a time where he did not turn it off. And I just like, well, here I go. And I just fell on top of him. Like, that is terrifying. But this time I did get off the chairlift without falling almost every single time. And I made it down the hill every time without falling, except one time a friend of ours was on the chairlift above us while we were on the hill. And he said, good job to my husband. And I looked up and then just caught a toe and ate it. So other than that,
ouch.
Super fun.
Wait, Cameron, your husband, falls every time off the chairlift?
This time he actually forgot to get out of the chair. Started turning around and he was like, oh, so he just like threw himself off. Like, what was really funny was that like he's a very I can learn anything kind of person, right? Like he can do all the studying, read all the techniques, and he will be like, I can do this. So I was talking about how hard it is to get off the chairlift. He's like, I don't understand why is it hard? Can you just explain to me what's hard? Like, you just line up and I was like, I don't know how to explain it to you, but there is something like terrifyingly hard about it. Yeah. And he's like, I think I got this. So the first time we went last month, he went ahead of me and went up and before it was even time to get off, he fell off. Before it was just like, okay, like not that I was rooting for that to happen, but I just wanted it. That way I don't have to explain why it's hard. He can just figure it out on his own. And he's like, you're right. Yeah, that's incredibly hard. So I don't remember if when we were just there, if he actually did get off without falling, maybe one time, possibly. But it's okay because as we're getting off, everyone's falling. So it's not just a us problem, but
it's just part of the experience.
Yeah. But that kind of also is like, so it was a really fun trip, but also kind of a downer was that when I went last month, I took a tumble off when I was getting off the chairlift, of course, and I had one foot strapped into the board. So as I tumbled, only one leg twisted and the other one didn't. And the pain in my knee and my ankle after that was pretty intense, but I kept going. And as the month has gone on, it has moved down from my knee just to my ankle. No. And I'm to the point where I'm like, do I need to go seek medical attention or not?
I think so. Yes.
We'll see. But it's fine. I can walk on it. It's fine. I just can't twist it around. So
there's that.
Yeah. So that was kind of my downer. Do you have any?
It was fun that at least the before and around not being
and it was for families and all of our kids. We had a great time. So super
awesome.
Fun. Highly recommend. It's getting to almost the fun part. Like, no, I feel like I can get down the hill, even though it's still very scary the whole time. I'm able to go down and turn and toe edge, heel edge, and get down. I think I'm ready for a big girl hill next, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But do you have any downers for the week? Any bummers?
Man, that sounds fun. Bummers for the week. Oof. You guys are Dallas Mavs fans. Well, know that in our house, we are
very
deep,
much
ride or die Dallas Mavericks. We're talking about the NBA for those of you who are not NBA fans around here. Myself, but my husband really is a deep fan. And so this Luka trade has just sent shockwaves through my home. And it's just blindsided us. Like everybody, I know even people who don't really follow the NBA, I think are seeing the news about it because it's such a big deal. And it's just funny. You have such a loyalty to your team and your being is such a part of that identity. And then something like this changes so much of that dynamic. And anyway, my husband is funny because he's like, I am kind of embarrassed at how sad I am about this.
Really?
I feel like I should be over it. And I know it's just sports, but really we got to be thinking about it more. And it's not just that. It's like, it really does feel like a betrayal in a weird way, not to go on and on about it. But so that's been kind of a funk in our house. So we're just starting to shake out of it. Here in a few weeks, we're actually going to San Francisco for my husband's birthday to celebrate his 40th.
So fun.
Which is going to be so fun. And part of what we planned was to go to a Golden State Mavs game while we were there.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, shoot. Now
Road
I feel
what
was going to be really fun is now maybe going to be this big downer. So I have to figure out if we need to pivot a little bit from that.
Yeah.
But we were getting through it. We're getting through it one day at a time. One day at a time.
Well, my son is a huge Lakers fan.
Yes.
Just because he loves LeBron and he just picked a team and that's his team and he's ride or die. So since Luka did go to the Lakers, my son does not like the Mavericks. I think just because he picks his team and then if someone else likes a different team, he hates that team. So now I'm like, wait, you used to not like him because he was on Mavericks. Now do you like him? And so he's like, yeah, I guess I like him now. He's pretty good. So it was decent news for our family, I guess, just because we've become Lakers watchers just because of our son. But we're actually taking him. His birthday was yesterday. He's 8.
Oh my
we
God.
are taking him to a Lakers Nuggets game. So that's his big celebration. So that'll be really fun to see. And Luka will be playing. So he'll get to see LeBron and Luka play together. So
amazing.
yeah, I'm sorry that's kind of your low and my kind of high.
Salt in our wound. No, it's okay. I'm so glad. Oh, and how are you old enough to have an 8-year-old?
I don't know. I'm not. We're 21. I don't know how I did this.
How
it's
is
weird.
that possible?
I don't know.
So strange. We saw a picture of him yesterday from his first birthday, and I have to admit, it like made me emotional. I was like, oh my God.
I was showing him pictures of him like for every year. I was like, you were so little, and you used to just like curl up in my arms, and I was like, now in 2 years we're gonna look back on today, and you're gonna look little. That's weird to me. And he just like he likes to look back at pictures of himself too, but it's very trippy. It's very trippy.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have a low or a bummer of the
Mostly
week?
my low is just my ankle hurting. And I just also feel like this will kind of, I guess, get into the next part is that we have to talk about the challenges we just did. Being that my challenge was to get off social media for a week, I felt one of my lows was that I couldn't help you promote and help you like with anything. You were like, the TikTok's not working. I'm like, I can't help you. I can't get on it. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. But I just felt bad. I felt like I couldn't be part of this exciting launch. So
yes. Well, admittedly, you are better at that stuff than me too. So I was like, can you help me write this caption via text message? Does that count? Yeah. Or I was asking you for advice and realizing, even though I also do this professionally, that there's something different about when you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
That you run into things and you're like, wait, how does that work?
Well, and I didn't get to see any of the feedback. So I was like, you were sending me screenshots of comments. I'm like, is this cheating? This isn't cheating. So
I couldn't decide. I think
it's not.
I don't think it's cheating.
Because that could have been a review on elsewhere, on not a social media site, right?
Yeah.
So
sure.
It's fine. All right.
Okay, so let's get into it. Tell me how your week off social has been.
As of this morning, it was 7 days of zero social media. I deleted TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, because although I was using YouTube not for social media, I was using it more for literally just to look at if I had to look something up. But just in case, I deleted that too. And so at first, it was so weird I still reached for my phone like 49 times in an hour. Like I still was like picking it up, and then I had to teach myself, all right, all you can do right now is check your email or text somebody, or you can read an ebook, or you can read your Kindle. That's the only thing you can do on this phone right now. And so I would still pick it up, but then I'd like be on it for just a second because I was like, all right, well, I don't need to check my email. So I just put it down. So I struggled a little bit just because I felt like I was missing out on some things. And also, as I was like researching the next challenge I want to do or other challenges, it would be like, oh, I want to read more about this. Check out their Instagram. And I was like, oh, I can't because I can't get on there. Or I was making my son's birthday cake yesterday and I made it look like a basketball going into a net. And I really desperately wanted to watch a YouTube video of how to make a net out of fondant because it looks easy. And it also, you're like, are you braiding? Are you twisting? What's happening? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to figure it out myself. And I did. And the cake was so pretty. But then after I made the cake, I was like, oh, I want to show the world this cake, right? But that's what I always do. But I was like, why do I feel the need to do this? I made this cake for my son. He loves it. That's the only reaction I need. I don't know why I feel this like need to have
broadcast it.
Also tell me it looks cool or whatever. So it was teaching me lessons of like, what really matters? What feedback do I really need? And what I really need is my kids and my husband, obviously. So I spent so much more time, or just not more time, but just better quality time with my kids. Luckily, it was very good weather during this week because we had snow before. It finally all melted. And so my kids wanted to play outside. My kids rollerbladed while I walked the dogs, shot hoops with my son outside. Every single day we played catch in the house. I also realized that I was listening to them in the car. My husband drives. I'm in the front seat, usually scrolling. And instead, I really engaged with them or just like eavesdropped on their conversations with each other, which are really funny. Like they're very entertaining. And so I was like, all right, this is good. I by like 3, I was like, I don't ever want to go back on. I would love to not have social media. Like, I really, really would love to not have it. But then again, I need to promote this podcast. I need to, I don't know. So this morning, it was 1 week. So I turned it on this morning. I downloaded the apps, logged in, and then I was like, I missed nothing. Like, there was nothing.
Yeah.
That was like nothing. I mean, Super Bowl happened. I watched it. I didn't need to hear anyone's opinions on it. So maybe I missed some like gay drama, but after getting recapped on that, I was like, oh, thank God I missed all that. I don't need all that in my life. So, and I noticed that I got back on and finally posted this morning, like, oh, we started a podcast. I'm so excited. But now I'm itching every 5 seconds to go see what
check
the feedback is. Yeah.
To see if people have responded or commented or shared or
driving me crazy. And I was like, well, I guess since I'm on here, I can put my son's cake on here, right? So like, I put it on TikTok and shared it on YouTube. And then I was like, well, I want to see if I'm getting any feedback on that. So I am afraid I am going to go right back to how I was, wanting to check it all the time. But
do you feel like you were missing personal, like, I know there are your kind of, for lack of a better word, your business accounts, like the things you have out there, your kind of brands. But like outside of that, do you feel like you were missing personal updates? Like, were you wondering what was going on with friends or family that you follow, or not really?
It made me text people more, like, which was good because that's a much better conversation and more personal than just, because when I would get on Facebook, I'd literally be like 40 comments deep on a family I don't know. Like, I don't know why or how or why I follow them. And I'd be like, why am I giving this my attention? So my brother had texted me and he was like, this is awesome. And I think, you know, how you talked about starting a shared photo album so that your friend, instead of posting on social, just send pictures. He's like, I think that's a great idea. He's like, sister-in-law, his wife, he said that they share photos all the time with her family. And I was like, that's what we should do instead, because like, it just is more personal and it means more. So I was texting more, obviously, with you and our college group friends, and texting with my family a lot more. And like yesterday when my son turned 8, I didn't get to post it on social. Instead, I was like texting people, hey, I can't get on social, so you're going to have to deal with me being an annoying mom, and look how cute my kid is. And so, no, I don't feel like I lacked anything. I didn't lack any connection. And after a couple of days, I didn't care that I was missing what was going on there. But yes, it's my own personal things, like the cake account, the book account. I read books and couldn't post my reviews on Instagram. And it's like, if I don't post it, I even read them. But then I was like, yes, I read these books. Like, I can still write reviews on them and just not post them. So I think overall it was very good for me. I think I definitely need to cut back a lot. I think I need to figure out how.
Do you think it will affect the way you use it moving forward? Or do you know
really
yet?
do. But then I hate to be naive. And then like a month I listen to this and be like, ha, that's hilarious. I'm already back on, you know? So I really do think, also my phone gave me an alert that was like, your step average is up for the past 5 days. And I was like, what? And I opened it up and my step average was up from, like, I guess I used to do like 6,600 steps a day to 10,900. Like, to be fair, it was my new average is 10,000 something when I'm not on social. To be fair, it was 5 beautiful days of weather. So I was obviously outside walking the dogs more, but I'm like, but maybe I wouldn't have walked the dogs if I had been stuck in a doom scroll. So I think that overall it was a very positive experience. I would love to do it for longer. I'm actually kind of wondering if I could just do 1 day a week like I did today. Like because when I did get on, I got so overwhelmed. It like stressed me out to get back on it. I was like, I don't need that. It was so calming. I also a few times slept until my alarm went off, which since I've had kids does not happen. As soon as I hear them, or a little bit after they're up, I will eventually hear them and just wake up. 6:30, usually 6:30. My son wakes up at like 5:30 or 6. So usually around 6:30, I hear them and wake up. So I have an alarm set for 6:50 just in case. And a couple times this past week, I slept straight up to my alarm. And I was going to bed earlier because I had nothing to scroll. So I'd read my book and get tired and go to sleep. So like, it's very, very nice.
That's amazing.
So are you sleeping? My sleep.
I know you have sleep problems. Did you have trouble sleeping through the night?
No, to explain my sleep problems, I developed pregnancy insomnia 8 years ago with my son when I was pregnant with my son, and since then I've been taking Unisom to sleep. And I recently found out it can increase your risk of dementia, taking it long term, and that runs in my family. So I'm already at a high risk, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to stop. I tried to go cold turkey. I didn't sleep right for 2 weeks. I tried
Oh.
everything, melatonin, magnesium, weed gummies. It's legal here. It's okay. Everything. And like nothing works like Unisom. I only take a half tab. It's so little. I could probably go down to like a third maybe. But no, I'm back on the Unisom, just a half a tab. But
Okay.
so I'll probably have
Slowly.
dementia. Yeah, but the good news is I'm sleeping. But I do think being off social media, I'm sleeping way better, sleeping longer, going to bed earlier.
So you're sleeping better.
Yes.
You're walking more.
Yes.
You feel more mentally peaceful, it
Yes.
feels like.
So
I
why did I
mean-
get back on it? I don't know. It's
Maybe
so
you could
dumb.
figure out a routine where you have like on and off times, you know, like times of day or a day a week or something like that. You could experiment with.
I was thinking something that would be healthy is probably while my kids are at school and if I'm not neglecting something else. So like, are there dishes in the sink? Let's do that. Is there work I need to do? If there's something more important, don't do it. If I'm literally caught up on everything, I think I'll re-download. I think I want to keep the apps deleted and re-download. So it's a process. I don't know if I'll really stick to this, but I think that's what I want to do is re-download and set a timer and let myself doom scroll for however long and then get off and be done.
Yeah.
Or just not. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who
Cool.
knows?
Well, I'm excited. I mean, it's cool that you did it. I'm proud of you for staying strong.
Thanks.
And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I feel like we should come up with some kind of structure for the podcast to come back and check in on like the stuff we did
before.
Yeah, before, like later down the road. And
next week, like, Lauren, are you back on it? And I'm like,
pull it. Have we integrated any of that in, or are what have we taken away from it, or not, or left behind? Right. So that's interesting.
It's a good idea. What about you? How's your writing journey going? Your poetry journey?
It's good. I admit that with my travel, it was a little bit of a slow start, but I have dived. I don't know. I think
we were journalists.
I've dove in. It's great. It's really good. It's a cool course, and I've kind of just the first module that I've done, which is like the first week's worth, is really just like doing some exercises to learn about the different parts of a poem and lines and stanzas and how to do that. And it's kind of cool because it can feel a little intimidating to put pen to paper and like try to come up with something like right off the bat. And so it takes you through some exercises of like taking poems that already exist or taking prose from books and like turning them into poems as like an exercise, which is actually kind of cool and a little less scary to try at first because you're not like just trying to write something out of thin air. So that's really what I've been focused on this week in the poetry writing, which is cool. And this is so me, but I like bought a cute notebook to like motivate myself.
Hey, you look better, you feel better.
I know. So I was like, this will be my cute new little poetry notebook.
So what's the name of the course for anyone who else wants to try it? Is it a free course? Is it online? And what's the name of it?
Yes, it's a free course. It's on Coursera, which I have never tried before. Have you ever tried Coursera before? And it is called, of course you've asked me.
Sorry.
I cannot remember. It's okay. What is it called?
You.
It's called like,
we can
put
it in the show notes.
I'll put it in the show notes what it's called, but it's something poetry. And
it's something poetry.
I'll put it in the show notes if you guys want to check it out, but it's free, which I love, and it's self-paced. And then in the next like 1 or 2 modules, I think I'll start actually writing some stuff and putting it out for peer feedback, which I'm a little nervous about.
Where are you going to post it? Like
they have like their
class?
own community, where people that are also taking the class come in and everybody gives each other feedback in like a constructive way, hopefully. So that will be interesting. And I'm also just trying to develop a regular writing habit along with doing this course. So
are you nervous about providing other people feedback? Like, what if you read one and you're like, this is very bad? Like,
I know.
I guess you can figure out.
Well, thankfully the instructor had some helpful guidance on like how to give constructive feedback, which I think is really valuable, especially in creative writing, because, it's kind of like try not to focus on what you just like and don't like or how you feel emotionally responsive to the writing, but instead think about the poem on its own and is it serving itself? Is it achieving the function it's trying, the effect it's trying to have, and try to separate it from like your own preferences. Okay. Which is kind of tricky. So we'll see. Hopefully I can do a decent job of that. And hopefully the people who are giving me feedback
I know, I was
also
gonna say,
do a decent
are you prepared for whatever feedback you're going to get?
So I don't know. Hopefully I can just try to have a beginner's mindset and be willing to learn and grow and try. That's what it's all about, right?
Right. I mean, you and I have experience, and we were editors, and we provided feedback to new writers and whatnot. So I feel like, I mean, it was a while ago, but I think we still got that in us. We could do it.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. So we'll see. It's been a minute, but it's good. And I'm also trying to, as an inspiration for this, read more poetry lately. Yeah. So I have like a really awesome old Mary Oliver book, that I haven't picked up in a million years. And I've just been picking that up this week, and I forgot how much I love it. It's so good. Awesome. So I've been reading her, and I've been reading Kate Baer, who's like one of my all-time kind of modern favorites for anybody who's looking for some great new poetry to read. So
that's awesome.
I'm gonna keep with it, and at least finish out the month and figure out what's next.
I honestly haven't read poetry since Shel Silverstein, like when I was little. Like Where the Sidewalk Ends, but I loved that. So
I'm going to send you a Kate Baer book. You have to read her. She's so and there's a ton of other great poets, but she's my personal favorite. And she also just announced her next book that's coming out later this year. Ooh. So I'm also very excited about that.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't need to talk about next challenge because you're still in your current challenge.
Yes, I'm going to stick with this one through the end of the month. But I am starting to have some thoughts about what could be next. Yeah. Like, I think I might have mentioned this last week, but I don't know if anybody would be interested, but I am curious about starting a garden. Like,
that's right. You did mention
garden.
that.
Did I mention that? So I might.
Is the timing, like, it is winter?
I know.
Is that an issue for timing?
Well, yes. But that's what I mean. Like, this, I'm doing poetry through February, I think. And then, then it'll be March, and it might be time to start, like, I don't know, any gardeners out there, gardener listeners?
Right.
We want to hear from you. When, in Oregon.
In Oregon, yeah.
I got to figure out.
I'm sure there are some things that do grow in the winter in Oregon. I just know what they are.
Or you have to start planting. Like, when do you start planting?
That's
March,
true.
April? I don't know.
That is true. Did you know that one of my first jobs, out of college, I was working at Every Day with Rachel Ray magazine, and I was the intern, right? And my first job, I thought this was a joke. It was, what is that, June, I guess? It was summer internship. And the first job, they're like, all right, I need you to source pumpkins. We need pumpkins for the October issue for a photo shoot. I was like, okay. I was like, great, easy. And then I sat at my desk and I was like, it's June. The seeds aren't even in the ground yet. Like, I didn't know that. I was like, sure, there's pumpkins. And then I started researching it, and I was like, oh my God, they're not in the ground yet. Or like, they just got planted. They're not going to grow. They're not. I ended up calling, I think it was South Africa. I found some.
Seriously?
That they could. Yeah, I was like, is this like a joke they play on the interns, right? Like, let's give them a literally impossible task and see what happens. And I was like, I'm gonna beat this test. I'm gonna find them. I'm gonna get the pumpkins, right? And so I did find them. I was in touch with a farmer. I want to say it was in South America. That makes more sense. But anyway, I found these pumpkins, right? And I was so excited. So I came with two options. I said, we have to have these. This is how much it will cost to import these. And then we have fake pumpkins that you can carve at any time. They're literally fake. And they went with the fake pumpkins. And I think it ended up being that they didn't even think for a second, like, oh, they're not on the ground yet, right? But yeah, I was like, it was so funny because I didn't know anything about gardening or pumpkins or anything. But I just thought it was so funny because I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was on Devil Wears Prada. And
I was going to say, it's a Devil Wears Prada moment.
Yeah, they were purposely trying to make me like quit or something. But I don't think it was a test. Pumpkins. But I did pass. But
I did pass.
Yeah. So next time you're looking at a magazine and you see pumpkins in the October issue, know that that's either from last year's photo shoot or fake pumpkins.
Fake. Yeah.
Or it's in another country.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like they make really beautiful fake
pumpkins these days. When you have actual kids and you have to carve an actual pumpkin, it's actually not fun. I learned. No.
It's gross.
I have great memories always carving pumpkins with my parents for Halloween. And then I did it with my kids when we were in Texas. I was like, oh, this is terrible. I hate the goo. I don't want to put my hand in this pumpkin. The kids didn't want to put their hands in it. We did it anyway, made these beautiful pumpkins. I put them on the porch, not thinking. I grew up in St. Louis where it's cold in October. Yeah. In Texas, that thing turned to black mold within like 4 days. And I was like, oh my God, we put so much work into this pumpkin. I put it out too early and it was a disaster. But anyway, to get back to your conversation, I don't know anything about gardening except that there's not pumpkins in the ground in June. So
So
There's
if I want to
that.
grow pumpkins, at least you're a
At
pro
least
on the timing
start now.
of
Yeah.
the pumpkins. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want
Yeah.
June pumpkins. Yeah.
So yeah, any of my Oregon friends out there, hit me up. Let me know. I know I have some gardening friends or friends that are great gardeners. So I'll have
Yeah.
to start thinking about that if I want to do it.
I
I've
have
also
a
thought about doing a dance class, maybe.
fun.
That one scares me a little,
Yeah.
which I think maybe is why I should try it.
Yeah.
But we'll
That's
see.
funny. I have a friend here who's big into gardening, and she's so funny because she'll like come to school drop off with like this bag over her shoulder. She's like, "Do you want any cucumbers?" And I was like, "What?" She like opens her bag. She's like dealing these cucumbers out of her bag, and like she came with these cute little pesto jars. She made her own pesto, and
Oh
like
my gosh.
I was handing them out at school, and it's like we are so different. I just like I don't have any of that in my purse. I wouldn't know how to make that.
I got some of the good stuff.
Yeah, the good
this week.
stuff. Yeah, we like doing deals on the parking lot. But yeah,
We can add that to conversations or encounters we
really.
didn't have when we were 21.
Exactly. Like, who wants a cucumber? And like, there were these massive cucumbers. They were like practical joke big. So she's a good gardener. She can give you some tips.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But
That's
I also
awesome.
thought I was gonna save it for shock value. Well, not shock value.
Oh.
But there are some dance classes I've been looking into. They are currently all full. They're like a 6-week course, but they're currently full, and the next 6 weeks is also full. But I'm on a wait list.
What kind of dance?
Well, there's an alternative dance studio near me, and they have classes like burlesque. They have they have burlesque basics, burlesque jazz or jazz burlesque. They have belly dancing. They have this class called booty and floor that I want to take so badly. It says to bring knee pads. Like I think it's like Magic Mike like grinding on the floor is my guess. It looks like a really cool studio and very body inclusive, all sizes.
Love
and just
that.
like really, which is probably why the wait list is so long.
Knee pad.
I am. Yeah. And then there's another studio near me that does pole dancing. So I've done that once in my life. I think we did it for a birthday right when I moved to New York. So it was like in my 20s, obviously, but it was so incredibly hard. So I don't see how at 39, I think I can do that. Right. Like,
why not?
Sounds, gosh, it hurts so bad.
You've been lifting. You're pretty strong.
That's a different kind of strong, though. Those pole dancers are
Will say. On the plane, I watched, have you seen Anora? The movie?
I've never heard of it.
What?
What's it called? Like, Anora?
Yes. It's Mikey Madison is the actress, lead actress. I think it's Oscar nominated.
Really?
And she is a sex worker dancer in the film, and it starts like it's a lot about that. And so anyway, you see a lot of dancing, and it's a really good film. You should check it out.
That's a different kind of strength, though.
It made me admire. I was like, good gosh, like there's some.
They work for those tips, man.
The core strength, and just the versatility.
Like grip strength, grip
yes,
strength, and oh my god,
I'm very impressed.
So.
Anyway,
that's potential in the future, but I couldn't get in a class right now. So yesterday I was like, that was my plan. And then I got a little panicked. I was like, oh my God, I don't have. Well, also while I'm looking into all these things I want to do, I realized that these all cost money, right? Like, obviously, it's hard to do a lot of free hobbies or free new things. But I thought now would be a good time to dive into something that could potentially make money and just see how it works. I know a lot of people are stay-at-home moms or do work but need to bring in a little extra income. So there's so many things from when I was on TikTok that would be like, these are great stay-at-home jobs or like side hustles. So I think I need to dive into one, see if it works. Then if it does work, I can create a step-by-step how I did it to provide to anyone else who's interested. Yeah. So the first one I'm going to do is Amazon merch on demand. Have you heard of this?
Okay. No.
So you have to create an
Amazon affiliate, kind of?
No, it's an Amazon seller account.
Okay.
So you become an Amazon seller and then you apply to this program, Amazon Merch on Demand. So like there is an approval process. I don't know if just anyone can do it, but basically you provide the artwork and then you tell it, it's kind of like Printify, or if you've used any others, print on demand.
Okay.
So you just provide the artwork and then you say, I want it on this color t-shirt, or I want it on a sweatshirt, or I want it on a coffee mug. And then Amazon handles all of the storage, inventory, shipping, everything. So basically all I have to do is provide the design and then I help set a price and then I get royalties on it. So from the research I've done, which is very little because I wouldn't even let myself on Reddit because I was like, that feels like social media. So I've only been able to look at like some websites to figure out how to make it successful. And it really does seem like, well, here's some struggles I'm going to have. I'm not a graphic designer. Okay. My sister is an amazing graphic designer. She does all of the graphic design that I need for my work. I pay her. I'm not just using her stuff. But I was thinking I need to really dive in and learn Canva, or maybe I teach myself Illustrator or Photoshop or something.
Yeah.
That sounds like a challenge in itself. I'd probably have a better shot at
check
learning Canva.
out Coursera or some online courses. I'm sure you
I should
could
do
learn.
that. And so if I just dive in, I think you kind of have to find like your niche. Which one do you say? Niche. Okay.
That's what I say.
Okay. You have to find your niche. So I was like, recently my sister and I and my book club went on a book club retreat. We went on a reading retreat, which if you've not done that, I highly recommend it. We just
lovely.
Yeah, there were 9 of us girls. We went to a cabin in the mountains. It was snowing. It was just all snow covered and beautiful. We stayed inside the whole weekend, aside from one walk. We did go for a walk Saturday morning. So we were like, we are rotting in here. We need to get out. But we all just brought crock pots. We made all these crock pot meals. We just had soups and we made like, French toast casserole bakes for breakfast and just literally read all day. We put on like, I have a wood burning stove in that cabin, but it was actually warm enough in the house. So we put the TV on the Bridgerton fireplace. Have you seen that?
No.
It plays like Bridgerton music and it's like a really beautiful, elegant fireplace. So it was like crackling. And so we had that fireplace on and then we didn't even talk to each other. Because at first I was like, 9 girls in one cabin. We're gonna die. Like, how are we gonna survive this? But no one needed quiet time because we literally didn't talk to each other the whole day. We were just reading. Some had audiobooks. Some were just like staring out the window, watching the snow, like listening to. And then at night,
like heaven.
After we'd have our soup, we would play games. So we had a couple games there. Yeah, we had like it was like Cards Against Humanity, but it was for Fourth Wing. So it was like Fourth Wing Against Humanity. It was super fun. Anyway, highly recommend that. But we all wanted to wear matching sweatshirts to the retreat. And we were looking on Etsy and on Amazon, and there was just nothing that really spoke to us. So I'm wondering if I could do like a book lovers themed or products for book lovers. I don't know yet. There is a lot out there.
Didn't your other sister have, or it was like a greeting card?
Yeah, my older sister had these really cool greeting cards.
T-shirts, but I think it was greeting cards that she
did.
Andrea,
my younger sister, also had t-shirt company.
Yes.
Yeah. So
okay, that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of hers.
A lot of creativity in this family. I just don't have the graphic design skill that they have. So we'll see how it goes.
Interesting. Okay, so the idea is like if you have some designs you come up with, then using the Amazon on demand service would make it like super simple, and then they do all the distribution, and then maybe you probably have to get like
pennies a month. Who knows? But
so you have to probably have to get pretty high volume to make the royalties start to bring in something meaningful, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know if that means just like the same art just on various products or various art on various products, or I don't know. I've heard that a black t-shirt is the highest selling t-shirt.
Yep. That makes sense.
You can decide if you want basic or like premium quality shirts. That's my thing. I don't want to throw it on. I don't want to create something and then someone gets it and it's like poor quality, Right. Then that's like my store is selling it, so it's bad. I don't know. So like, can you buy one for yourself first, or like, can they send you one? So I need to learn all that. So I'm hoping that I can do enough research in this month, to learn how to apply to it, how to get approved, or maybe I don't get approved the whole time and this is a failure. But what merch I'm doing, if stuff does start to sell, which things are selling and which things aren't. So I'm hoping to be able to provide that feedback for other people in case people want a potential side hustle.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll see how it goes.
If I have them, I'll be sending you unsolicited ideas for t-shirt design.
Please. And anyone else listening, if you think this needs to be on a t-shirt, send it to me. Or you can do it yourself too. Put it on Amazon merch on demand and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing.
But that's another thing I think that we have seen. If anyone else out there who's listening, if you guys are doing things at this phase of your life, whether it's a different phase than we're in or not, if you're just trying something new or challenging yourself, send us a message. Let us know. We can talk about it on here. Maybe at some point we'll bring in guests. I don't know. I've learned.
I would love that.
Yeah. So there's been even like our friend Mike. We didn't even know he had a podcast until he listened to ours, and then like he was like, "Oh, here's my podcast." I was like, "I didn't even know you're doing that." So I think it's been fun to learn what other people are doing so we can hear other ideas and kind of feature other perspectives too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to hear from you. So if you're trying something for the first time, if you're, yeah, exactly like Lauren said, if you're like in a new phase of life, or you've been like wanting to try something, but maybe you're a
Right.
little intimidated, like we'd love to hear from you, your story. And
Yeah.
I would love to bring some friends on who are doing stuff like that we could talk to and share.
Yeah.
But yeah, share with us. You can either email us or hit us up on social. We're in all the places.
Yeah. Yeah. Everywhere. But so in saying that, I think that wraps up episode 2. And we can't wait to hear feedback. Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. It's Are We Doing This Pod is our handle. And again, our podcasts are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, which you probably know because you're listening right now. But we also have the video version that we'll be putting on YouTube. And it's also video podcast on Spotify as well.
That's right. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow or subscribe so that you keep seeing our episodes in your feed. When we come out with new ones, we'll be coming out every week. So stay tuned and leave us some comments or share with a friend or make a review, write a review,
make a review,
whatever.
Just make one
review because we really would love to hear from you. So
yes,
that's
definitely.
that.
Now that I'm on social, I want to read all the comments.
Yes, give Lauren something to chew on.
To look at. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, until next time.
Everybody. Until next time.
All right. See ya.
Bye.